Hello guys, my name is Tudor and I'm preparing to return back in the city where I study. That means another 5 hours spent on the train, but it's the beginning of the semester, so I'm actually able to waste some time. I want to talk about something that was stuck in my mind for some time. Do you guys remember when we were kids in 2000s and we used to play this kind of virtual worlds like Club Penguin or Animal Jam or Bean Weevils and many more of them? Those are pretty much dead right now because, Club Penguin was basically killed by Disney, Bean Weevils lost its entire audience, and to be honest, I really don't know why, but I assume it's because it used to flood you with so many ads, and it actually became frustrating. Animal Jam had some security problems from what I heard, and nowadays the game is able just in the new 3D mode, and that pretty much killed the nostalgic 2D view of the game. These virtual worlds were basically the social media apps for the 2000s kids. We didn't know about Facebook or YouTube, and let's be honest, even if we did, we couldn't care less about them. We have Club Penguin, man. Does Facebook have a card jitsu game that allowed you to beat the sensei in the final? I don't think so. And let's be honest, Mark Zuckerberg would not be a good sensei at all. But there's a virtual world game that I haven't seen anyone talk about in the last couple of years, and I really don't know why, because it was pretty popular. It's a game that used to be played a lot. And that game, my friends, is called Pandanda. You may know that game, and even if you don't, you can search for it on YouTube. It was like a Club Penguin, but the design was even better if you ask me. It had a lot of mini games like catching ghosts, the white ones to be more specific, because the blue ones were freezing you. Another minigame was about catching bunnies in a field, and some of them were worth more because they gave you more coins. This game included even real-time events like Halloween or Christmas or Easter, and the background music changed every single time on the current event. But here it comes the best part, guys, so sit down, relax, and listen for a little bit. You know that in this type of virtual world games, for the developers to actually receive some money from the game, there was this term called membership. And don't lie to me, man, you wanted that shit too. We all know about it, we all want it, but some of us didn't have the chance of getting it, unfortunately. I always wanted a membership in Club Penguin because I wanted to play those 3 elemental card jitsu games and to have a much cool looking igloo than the basic one and pretty much, have some clothes, because that would be cool. In Animal Jam, things were a little bit different because you could buy clothes and make your house look good because that game was not as greedy as Club Penguin was. But here it comes Pandanda, man, the one and only, the legend itself, Pandanda, man. What did that game do differently from the other ones, you might ask? Well, here we have the membership day, which was once in like 2 months or something like that on 24th. Sometimes there were like 2 consecutive membership days on 24th and 25th. And in those 2 months, man, I used to grind that game and make a lot of money to prepare for buying dragons. Basically, the dragons were like the equivalent of the puffers from Club Penguin. They were like pets that you could buy and have at home. And I wanted to buy some cool clothes for members that made me look like the coolest guy on the server. Unfortunately, you couldn't wear the clothes after the membership days ended, but at least you could keep the dragons in your home. And we had potions that made you invisible or big or small, and those were pretty cool. There was a potion that made you quick as flash. I honestly can't remember that well, but I know there were some more potions only for the members, so you could buy them too in the membership days. Man, Pandanda was so cool. But the problem was that the majority of the community used to farm the game in those 2 months as well, between the membership days, and eventually buy everything when they come. So that kind of steals the authentic vibe of being a member, because what's the reason to pay money if a lot of people can have the same things as you for free? It's the same amount of time invested in playing the games and making money to buy those things. And we were kids, let's be honest, we all had a lot of time to play the game. The game was not even maintained by a company like Disney or Discovery, for example, and it was just this guy called Henry. He's a nice guy, and I don't know if he had a team back then, but without anyone paying money on the membership, the game eventually died due to financial reasons, unfortunately. I remember I was so sad when I got back home from school and instead of seeing the normal menu of the game, I saw this message. This message unfortunately is up on the website even today and it still saddens me a lot to see it, you know. Henry has a Twitter account, but he hasn't posted on it since November 2012, you know. I think he deserves a lot of respect from us because he's a real G, you know. He had the opportunity to ride the wave of the virtual world games, but he chose to give more than he ever received, you know. And he still gets a lot of comments on Twitter from Zoomers in their 20s, like me, you know, that are so nostalgic about the game and want it to return. There were a lot of virtual worlds back then because that was the trend. Like even McDonald's or Cars or Kung Fu Panda had their own virtual worlds. But Pandanda was different. Pandanda gave you a lot more welcoming vibes. You could just fish while talking with another players, you know? You could just do the quests of the NPC pandas. You could do a lot of things, you know? After the game shut down, there were a couple of fan-made servers like MPandanda or iPandanda, you know, that lasted some years but eventually got down as well, unfortunately. Sometimes I miss the originality on the internet. Like, I'm not saying that if someone does a type of thing, then you have to do something very different from that, you know? You can get inspired by him and then add your own unique things, you know? I was indeed inspired by Nico and Loki Martin, but that doesn't mean I have to talk about the same things as them. Indeed, we can say about the Pandanda team that was inspired by the other virtual worlds, but the feeling that you got when you played that game was a lot different from the others, you know? Like, you have a lot of different memories with that game. This was the internet before, guys, you know? It was not like, hey, look at this video, the title and the thumbnail look so amazing. It must be cool, so let's watch it, you know? And when you click on the video, the most original thing is the ad from the beginning, man. And you eventually end up watching another YouTuber guru that speaks in the same kind of way as the others, you know? Or you end up watching just another type of MrBeast YouTuber that screams at the camera, you know? But unfortunately for him, he doesn't have the enough money to put in the title, you know? So he's like, I just made an entire castle in Minecraft in only 5 minutes with my mom waiting for me to go to school. Man, I hate that type of content so much, and I'm so disappointed that Gen Z doesn't care about the things that they loved in the childhood, you know, and try to observe what made those things be special and different. It was not about the thirst for money that is nowadays, you know, it was about doing something legendary that will remain in history, man, and people will grow up and eventually be like, I want to watch that Cartoon Network series from 2004, you know, because I miss it so much. Or maybe I wish Pandanda had never closed, man, because I would have loved to play it right now, you know? And so on. And let's be honest, man, in 2030s, no one will remember the MrBeast clones and their screaming, you know? I hope you guys had a great time watching this video, and if you liked it, feel free to subscribe to my channel, because that would help me a lot, you know? See you next time, and have a nice day. Peace.